Alright, so here we are again with Trump again doing something that some people might see as being, very China friendly, being very pro-China, sticking up to China, being friends with China, and some even saying that it is so different from the Trump that that wanted to fight China, to launch all this Cold War, hot war, trade war, whatever, whatever term you use on China. But recently he says save TikTok, right? So what is this about saving TikTok? Does he really want to save TikTok? I mean, he was the one, right? As CNN rightly pointed out, that he was the one who actually came up with the ban, the banning of TikTok. He was the one who proposed this, right? And the House followed through, right? The Congress, both Republicans, both his own Republicans and the other side, the Democrats, agree that this is a bloody thing that needs to be banned, right? And removed from the US. And then now he does an about turn, trying to be the one that saves TikTok. You see, the way I look at it is this, right? Whether or not he wants to save TikTok, nobody knows. Nobody knows, not even you, not even me. But even if he wants to save TikTok, right, there are conditions to be met by TikTok itself, right? There are conditions, there are requirements by which China needs to play, right? For a start, 50% of the ownership of the app needs to be in US hands. It can be Elon Musk, it can be Trump himself. In fact, Trump himself wants, Trump Media to take over the ownership of TikTok. But really, it can be anyone in the US, right? As long as it is not more than 50% in the hands of the CCP. And of course, we all hope that the US can own more, not just 50%, but more than 50% of it, so that, there is outright control, rather than a 50-50 kind of thing. So yeah, the national security so-called concern is still there, which I fully agree with, no doubts about it. At the same time, Trump wants to be more flexible about it, rather than a complete ban, because yes, he may have been the one who wanted this app that was, influencing elections to be banned, which is not wrong, but at the same time, right? And of course, Biden also, when he saw his popularity dip, he also started to want to, come down hard on TikTok. So, but whatever the reason, right? It is true. I think it is no doubt true that there is something going on there. Okay, and the US is right to want to remove this. In fact, every country should, right? Not just the US. But of course, the US is the most heavily affected because it is the number one leader standing in the way, of China dominating the world, like how the Nazis tried to do. So, or USSR for that matter, it is not wrong, but how to do it is the question, right? Which I always say, we may have the same motives, we may have the same objectives, but how we reach this objective, whether to do it in the correct way or the wrong way, whether to do it in a clever way or a dumb way, right? So there are many reasons for and against, using this current method to ban TikTok. But anyway, the Supreme Court of the US, which we should have high respect for, and you can say it's dominated by conservatives, but not all 9 of the judges are conservative, right? 5-4 or maybe 6-3, but even then, 9 out of 9 of them passed the judgment that the TikTok ban is fully constitutional. You know, it is not an infringement of free speech. 9-0, right? So it is not just a partisan issue. It is a whole country issue, and it is not even just the political realm that thinks that TikTok is an evil force that needs to be removed. The Supreme Court agrees, you know, that removing TikTok isn't something that infringes on freedom and blah blah blah. So no question about that, right? But of course now you are saying, you know, Trump wants to revive TikTok, wants to keep it alive, but as I said, with conditions, right? And who knows, you know, what if TikTok, under the hands of Donald Trump or Elon Musk or some other US entity, becomes a good app, right? So I think we shouldn't be too black and white about these things, right? Of course, if it is still 100% in the hands of CCP under the cover of Singaporean Chiu Shouzi, then of course TikTok wouldn't be any good to the world, right? It will continue to censor anti-CCP voices, anti-China opinion. It will continue to try to amplify, you know, the anti-American voices. So it is very good that if it can change into something different, just like X, right? Just like Twitter. Twitter used to be the playground of the left, right? Of course, at the very start, it was free speech, and then it slowly became, a leftist playground, because the people at Twitter decided, you know, that clamoring to the democratic establishment is more important than, letting people speak freely. But guess what? Elon Musk took over, and Twitter became X, and free speech got restored, and now even Facebook, right? Even Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, right, is following the footsteps and introducing back free speech. Wow. So if TikTok suddenly becomes no longer a CCP propaganda machine, shouldn't we be happy about it, since so many of you guys are already on the platform? Right? And this time there won't be a meltdown from the left saying, I will want to quit TikTok just because a conservative took over, right? There won't be such a problem, because everyone hates the CCP, right? Now that TikTok, unfortunately a CCP app that got so popular, wow. And then now suddenly also, you know, the only thing bad about TikTok, which is that it belongs to the CCP, even this factor is removed. Wow. Then TikTok really truly now belongs to everyone, right? It really now truly is a free speech platform, which Elon Musk would support, which Donald Trump would support, which conservatives would support. Maybe, I don't know about liberals, all right, but I mean, I think it's a good deal, right? So for many things that Donald Trump does, right, and TikTok is just one very prominent, obvious, glaring example of how Donald Trump plays the cards, of how he uses 孙子兵法, you know, to tackle China. On the one hand, say nice things, good things, few good things about you, which Chinese like, the CCP likes to hear, you know, because its propaganda machine can then tell the whole world that Donald Trump is on my side and I'm on Donald Trump's side, la la la, right? But at the same time, you know, there is something beneath the surface, right? There is something going on. There is, you know, this kind of China friendliness comes with conditions, right? It comes with conditions. So you see, Biden does it the wrong way. You know, even though Biden is also, I mean, to his credit, to his administration's credit, he didn't go soft on China. He basically continued everything that Trump did to China. On some areas, he even increased the tariffs and all this punishment on China. He was very I think there's this comparison between Trump's and Biden's approach. One is more like wide sweeping, and then the other one is more specific targeting. I forgot which is which lah, honestly, right? But no matter, right? We see that Biden isn't too soft on China, but he gave himself a bad name, right? By trying to contain China in a ineffective manner, right? He got himself a bad name. The whole world is saying, why do you want to do this? China, the Zhonghuajiaos have things to say. You know, Biden, even though Biden, I feel he's just continuing what Trump did, but all the blame and all the hate is on Biden somehow, right? And then Trump gets the credit of being 川建国, you know, the spy. You know, the Chinese social media likes to make fun of Donald Trump as the spy sent by the Chinas, you know, to the US to help make China great again. That is how they, you know, masturbate and you know, deceive themselves into believing that Trump is actually doing good for China. Good lah, good. Actually, it's good that they believe so, right? Because then no one would hate on Trump. He becomes a good person. He becomes someone that even the Chinese people support and dare, most importantly, they dare to support him. But that's the end of Xi Jinping, right or not? That's the end of China as we know it, because Trump is not going to be soft on China, especially when it hurts American interests. And China is going to hurt American interests. China's entire purpose of existence now in this 2025 world is to hurt America so that it can go up, right? So Donald Trump would it is not possible for Donald Trump to allow it, economically, politically, what have you, right? Already he wants to dismantle the United Nations because it is a China organization. He wants to leave the World Health Organization because it listens to China. And the list goes on and on and on, right? So, but on the surface, you know, China won't be so blunt and direct, right? I mean, Trump won't be so blunt and direct. You know, he likes to go, you know, and then according to CNN, you know, his policy can change 180 degrees. But that's how you trick your enemy, right? That's how you are unpredictable, you know, so that there's no way your enemy can catch you, right? So when you say I'm this, I'm that. When you say I'm that, I'm this at the same time, right? It's a bit like how we argue on the Palestine-Israel issue, right? We say we support both sides, but in the name of peace, right? If, you know, we agree to a ceasefire only if and only if, you know, for example, Hamas releases all the hostages, this and that, right? And then when there are conditions attached, then things become clearer, easier to follow, easier to understand, and then easier to make our stand very clear. You know, you can't say that I am not supporting the Palestinian people. I am, but it has to be, you know, under certain conditions, right? Because the other side will say, you know, you're performing a genocide. You want, you know, it's an appetite. You want to, you know, eliminate and exterminate all the Palestinians, which is not true, right? But if you just say no, you're not going to take your word for it. You need to go one round, right? You need to go one round to make your case. So Trump is doing this to China. Trump is doing this exact thing to China, right? He's going one round. He's saying, can lah. You know, I allow TikTok to survive, but under the condition, right? And this condition isn't something new. This condition has been set, has been mentioned way before. And China hasn't agreed to it. But Trump is repeating it again. You know, he's giving you one last chance, basically. You know, I'm here to save you, right? Be a good boy. Share 50% of ownership with me, and I'll let you live. You see, so Biden is like, I try to contain you in an ineffective manner, but Trump is like, I can make you pay and I can finish you off even more effectively than Biden, but I'm willing to give you one last chance for survival. I'm willing to give you one last chance of negotiation so that we can both live happily together. And I thought that is an excellent strategy, whether or not you like China, right? The Zhonghuajiaos are going to celebrate this because they are going to say, let's prosper together. As long as China prosper, I don't care. The anti-CCP are going to say, sure, at least now CCP becomes a good boy, at least now CCP listens, at least now CCP is willing to negotiate, and it is not that dominating anymore. And I think everyone gets to benefit from this, right? So as much as I want to see the CCP totally destroyed, totally exterminated, right? I would be okay, right, with it changing its ways, becoming a good boy, and then because of that being allowed to survive and live together with us. I think I am okay with that, right? Some compromise to be made here and there, some small injustices here and there, but if on the whole, we are at least not on the defense, but on the offense, right? We get to decide, and we get to control the narrative. We get to control the odds, the deal. Then I think that is a good deal for us.